Hi, I'm Ronnie J Cole II, your local Atlanta realtor. And so today we are going to discuss the home buying process. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. So today we're discussing the home buying process. This particular video is for my buyers out there. This is a look at the home buying process from the buyer's side of the transaction. So step one, first thing you need to do is find a realtor, a real estate agent who you're confident in. You've talked with them, you've met with them, they've given you an overview of the entire process, and you want to make sure that they'll help you to find the property that you're looking for. And they're your consultant. They're going to tell you everything that you need to know to assist you in the buying process. So major step one, find a realtor to work with. Step two, and this is probably the most important step when starting the home buying process, and that's actually getting pre-approved for a home loan. And so what you'll do is you can go to your bank, you can go to a credit union, you can go to anyone that you feel comfortable with to get a pre-approval letter. And another great tip that I'll add in this video is you're able to shop around for a mortgage. What do I mean by that? Is you can go to several different banks and apply for a loan, but you have to do it within a certain time frame because you don't want it to be multiple inquiries on your credit report. We can talk about that in a later video, but get a pre-approval letter. That pre-approval letter lets you know how much home you can afford, and they'll look at your credit history, they'll look at your bank statements, they'll look at your work history, all of that good stuff to determine what you're able to afford. So step three in the process is shopping for homes. And this is when we're going to find out everything that you want and need in a home. We're going to talk about how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms you need and want, what amenities you're looking for in a community. Do you want to be close to anything, like parks or grocery stores or shopping or restaurants, that sort of thing. We're going to talk about all these different things in the consultation and find out what will be the best home for you. And so once we find out everything you're looking for, then we'll start sending you properties so that you can see what's out on the market. And then we can go and look at these properties to find out if you like them or not. And basically that's it. We're on the home search at this point. Moving on to step four. So step four is actually making an offer on a property. You will find a property you like. You'll probably love it actually. And you will then tell your realtor, hey, we love this property. It fits, everything that we're looking for, hits 4 out of the 5 boxes or 3 out of the 5 boxes. And so we want to make an offer. This is when your realtor will then put together a purchase and sale agreement to give to the listing agent, which is the seller's agent, because the terms have changed this year, but we'll give to the seller's agent so that they can then present that offer to the seller so that the seller can make a decision. Another quick tip, in today's market, we are currently in a hot market and there are multiple buyers bidding on the same property. So we're having bidding wars. So you have to make sure that your offers are very competitive. Now, I won't necessarily tell you what to do in this video. We can talk about that in person, but you have to make sure that your offers are competitive and strong in order to get considered for buying a property. Now, if we move into a buyer's market at some point, the same tactics that we may employ in a seller's market, we may not necessarily employ in a buyer's market. And I can talk about what a seller's market and what a buyer's market is in a later video. Moving on to step 5. We're in the negotiation and contract stage. So we've made that purchase and sale agreement. We've written it up. We've made that offer to the listing agent and the seller. And so at that point, we're kind of negotiating, price and terms and details of the transaction. And basically, that's it. Your realtor's going to talk with you, tell you, what you should ask for, what you shouldn't ask for. It used to be a time when you would say, hey, we want to ask for $5,000 to $6,000 or whatever amount in closing costs. In today's market, that may not necessarily be as effective or it may not be as effective right now, but in maybe a buyer's market, Great thing to ask for. Great thing to ask for. Anywho, after we move past the negotiation phase, the seller accepts your contract, and then we move to a point where we go into a due diligence period. And also some places call it escrow, but basically this is when, like we present earnest money to the seller's agent. Earnest money, again, is usually 1 to 3% of the cost of the home. So it could be like $1,000 up to $5,000 or $10,000. It just depends. And that also goes into the offer that you're making, is how much earnest money you put down. So that's another tidbit that I can talk about with you more in depth as we meet together and meet in person or meet over Zoom. Who knows? So we moved in escrow. So then we'll move to the due diligence process after we get the earnest money over to the closing attorney or the seller's agent. We move into the due diligence period. That's when you get to do inspections on the property to find out if there are any potential red flags that may be wrong with it, whether there are plumbing issues, whether there are electrical issues, or the roof, may be to the point where, you may need to get the roof repaired. HVAC could be, past its useful life. So the inspector comes in and takes a look at all of that, and they're really looking at condition of the home. And so they're going to tell you what the condition of the property is. And hiring a inspector is usually somewhere between $250 to $500. It varies based on where your home is located, the size of the home, if you're in a metro area, et cetera, et cetera. So once we do all of these inspections and get surveys and all of this great stuff, then we move to the final details portion of it. And that's basically, we're trying to find out, getting all the information that we need over to our lender so that our lender can prepare for the closing. And basically that's when the lender really starts the underwriting process, which they probably should have started earlier, but it depends on the lender. But they really start the underwriting process where they really go in depth into, your job history and what you can afford, and your DTI, which is debt to income ratios, how much money you may have outstanding, any types of major loans that you have, any type of personal debt, consumer debt, credit cards, personal loans, that sort of thing. They're really going into all those numbers to make sure that you can afford this home that we've made an offer on. Now, I'll also say tip number, I think this is tip number 3. But the tip number 3 is your loan originator will order a home appraisal. I've actually done a video on home appraisals, and you can go and take a look at that, but they'll order a home appraisal, and that's just to make sure that the property is worth the price that you as the buyer and the seller have agreed on at that time. And then after that, we move on to closing. We're at the closing table, baby. We're almost there. We're finished. That's basically when you go to a law office, an attorney's office. And this particular attorney will focus on probably residential real estate, the majority of the time. And so you'll go there, they'll ask you to sign a bunch of paperwork, probably about, this thick, just signing your life away. But that's going through the process of deeds and title and all that good stuff. And you're pretty much at the finish line, at the end of, the closing, when money is exchanged hands, not literally, but like, by your bank, something like that. And keys are then exchanged, and garage door openers are exchanged, and that's it. You're at the end of the process. Unless you're buying a new construction. New constructions are a little bit different. Closings are the same, but some of the nuances in this are a little bit different in terms of how you negotiate. But for the most part, with resales, once you get to the closing table, you're exchanging all that good information, and you're done. You're done. You take signs out of the yard, and you go to your house, and you start moving your stuff in. So this has been Ronnie J Cole II, your local Atlanta realtor. I'm so happy that you were able to watch this video on the buying process. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to speaking with you soon, and I hope all of you have an excellent day.